Have you ever wondered if you could defeat Moon Extra with just one character? Or am I the only one crazy enough to try something like that? Spoiler alert, yes you can, and it's not just a million turns of stall, but I wasn't satisfied. I wanted to do this without bricks, without an awakened Otohime. Here's how I did it. First, I will need to full break the enemies. They have lots of barriers, so I will need to use Otohime's Spread Shot, which has 1 Moon Break at 1 power. I will have to tank some hits here, that's because we obviously don't have enough barriers to keep on grazing the entire fight. Here's where there's some RNG that comes into play. Every time Otohime gets hit, there's a 60% chance that she will negate 50% of that damage due to her passive. If this doesn't trigger, sometimes Iku can one-shot Otohime on turn 1. On turn 2, I graze once to tank Iku's spell card, and you'll notice now I have a blind barrier. Iku inflicts 1 blind whenever she uses spell card 1 or 2. This is not good because blind reduces my accuracy and might cause me to miss the moon break. In order to counter this, I boost 2 times instead of once, as Otohime's character ability grants her a level of accuracy every time she boosts. Pay attention to my barriers. You'll notice that I graze once and then use my skill restoring 2 barriers. Doing this allows me to graze while still keeping 4 barriers for next turn. Note that this does not work in auto replay. I'm also boosting 3 times on this turn, again, not because it gives me additional bullet lines or moon breaks, but because of the accuracy that it provides due to Otohime's character ability. This is to minimize RNG so I don't have to keep resetting due to missing breaks. On turns 1 and 3, I tanked Iku's shot without grazing, but on turn 5 I'm going to graze. If Iku uses her focus shot like she just did and Otohime's passive does not activate, then she can one-shot Otohime. I choose to tank the first few turns and then graze later on because it's really frustrating to die late in the run and waste a lot of time on a failed attempt. Iku uses her last word, restoring 4 barriers to herself. This is not random, she does use her spell cards in a set order. At this point, Iku has 5 barriers and the bunnies have 1 each. Now pay attention to the boost button. You'll notice that I boost 3 times and then use a skill which restores some spirit power. Just like the barriers, your spirit power can overflow when you use a skill mid-turn after boosting. I've exceeded the normal limit for spirit power, which is 5.0. Now I'm using spell card 2, which poisons Iku, immediately breaks that poison and then does another 3 moon breaks. This essentially gets rid of the 4 barriers that she just restored using her last word. I'm using the Ordinary Magician story card to gain Yang attack as well as crit attack, which is important as I will need to do lots of damage. Now they're all at 1 barrier, I'm gonna use spell card 1 to instantly full break them and then do lots of damage. This spell card has Yokai Killer, which means that they'll always crit against Yokai, which Iku and the bunnies are. That's why the crit attack is important. I'm using the Standing Behind You story card, which gives you moon power up as well as 2 levels of crit attack. On the next turn, I'm using spell card 3 to finish them off. These spell cards have hard scaling, which means they deal more damage with higher defense. I've been stacking Yang attack, Yang defense and crit attack, all of which contributes to this damage number. It's turn 10 and I'm confident tanking this one hit because I've been stacking lots of Yang defense from the spell card effects. So far the run was going well. I didn't die on turn 1, I didn't die on turn 3, and I dealt enough damage to kill off Iku's first gauge. However, there was another major fail point coming soon. On turn 12, I will have to tank a hit, and I will have no Yang defense at that point. If Iku decided to use her focus shot and I got unlucky with the passive not activating, I could die here. That would really suck because then I have to restart all over again. Phew, didn't die. Okay, that's good. Most of the RNG was now gone from the run and I was quite confident that I would succeed. I had enough barriers that I wouldn't need to tank another hit. All I needed to do was to use a few more spread shots and get them down to 2 barriers, and then I would use my last word. Now let's talk a bit about buff management. Otohime's last word gives her Yang attack for 1 turn and Yang defense for 3 turns. I use Otohime's skill tree, which gives 3 turns of Yang attack in order to extend the Yang attack buff from the last word, which is important as I will need it in the turn after. So these enemies have 2 barriers left, and Otohime's last word does 2 moon breaks almost immediately, full breaking them very early on and allowing me to get most of the damage in. The top bunny will drop the bomb item, restoring the last word. Now I'm using spell card 4 in order to get more breaks on Iku. I'm getting 1 poison break and 3 moon breaks. Unfortunately, Iku gets lots of evasion up here. I think it's 5 evasion, so the 3 accuracy from boosting is not enough and I have to use an accuracy card here in order to guarantee all the breaks. It would really suck if I miss a break so late in the run and then had to restart. So now Iku is at 3 barriers and I'm hoping that my last word would do 3 moon breaks and then full breaking her and then killing her off. I used all my skills here for the buffs and graze for Yang attack. As you can see, it takes a little while before Iku gets full broken, because the third Moonbreak in Otohime's last word comes quite late. Unfortunately, because of this, the damage just wasn't enough and the run failed. There are some things I can do to fix this, but it will involve lots of RNG. Firstly, instead of using an accuracy up card, I could use a card like Miracle Mallets to give crit attack, extending the crit attack buffs and allowing me to do more damage on the last turn. However, because of the lower accuracy, it's very likely I would miss lots of breaks and just fail the run anyway. I could also get luckier and hope that Iku does not use her liquid resist skill, which means that I will do a lot more damage. I could also stall a few more turns before using my last word, but that would take a long time because Iku would use her last word, storing her barriers, and then it would just take forever, so yeah. At this point, I had already soloed Moon Extra with a max awakened Otohime, and I think I've done enough to prove that you can do it without any awakenings as well, if you get a little bit lucky. I had already spent lots of time planning out the best times to graze and to use skills, etc. And I didn't really want to keep on doing attempts until the stars aligned. So for now, you guys will just have to be satisfied with a max awakened clear. Thank you for watching, I hope you learned something new. If you want to see more dumb challenges, check out this video, and if you want to see more Moon X stuff, check out this playlist. Bye bye.